Julissa Thaler, age 28, lived in Spring Park, Minnesota with her son Eli. Eli Hart, age 6, attended Shirley Hills Primary School in the Westona Public Schools system. Eli wanted to become a firefighter when he grew up. He loved giving hugs, and was a friend to everyone who met him. He enjoyed playing with matchbox cars, and was a happy, patient child. Eli suffered from a rare genetic disorder called Townes-Brocks syndrome that causes kidney disease, and hearing impairment requiring him to wear hearing aids. Eli's father, Tory Hart, tried to see his son early on, but Julissa would not allow it. If Julissa felt the courts may give him any visitation rights, she would make false accusations in court to prevent that from happening. Tory Hart lives in Chautauqua, Wisconsin with his girlfriend. He has continuously attempted to get custody of his son through the courts. He wanted to get custody of his son and bring him back to Chautauqua, Wisconsin, where he owns and operates a bait shop. Tory and Julissa met in 2013 when they were both 19 years old. Their relationship was great until she became pregnant with their son in 2015. Their relationship deteriorated, and Tory moved out in 2016 after Julissa filed a domestic abuse complaint that was later proved to be false. She claimed that he threatened to kill her with a shotgun. No charges were actually filed due to insufficient evidence. Another complaint was filed not long after, in which Julissa claimed Tory threatened to kill her if she ever left him. Julissa later confessed to authorities that her mental issues causes her to make false accusations against Tory. All charges were dropped. After the two broke up, Julissa moved in with her maternal grandmother Linda Genrick. While staying there, she told her grandmother that Tory was abusive, and her grandmother believed her at first, but later realized her granddaughter was just being manipulative. A bitter custody battle was ongoing, and Julissa refused to allow Tory to see his son. In 2019, Julissa showed up at a wedding of Tory's sister uninvited. She gave Tory her contact information, but a few months later contacted the St. Paul, Minnesota Police Department and accused Tory of putting a nail bomb in her car. No charges were filed, but a judge ordered Tory to stay away from Julissa for 2 years. In January of 2021, Eli was placed into foster care due to the mother being unfit. She had a history of extensive drug use, mental health issues, unstable living conditions, as well as criminal behavior. She has a pending case involving the theft of pharmaceuticals from a health clinic. After being arrested for the theft, she tested positive for methadone and OxyContin. She was kicked out of 2 homes due to her behavior, in which police had to be called 21 times in a 10-month period. She refused to attend court-ordered mental therapy, and was thrown out of court-ordered parenting classes. She had to locate a new drug testing facility due to her behavior. She also has several traffic violations for speeding and using her cell phone while driving. The foster system placed Eli in the home of Nikki Kronberg for 11 months. While living with Kronberg, Eli was able to begin a relationship with his biological father, Tory. Eli and his father developed a powerful relationship. The two spent time fishing, and his father even taught him to ride a bike with no training wheels. While Eli was in foster care, when Julissa would visit, she would constantly tell him it was his own fault he was there instead of with her. Eli became very wary of his mother. During supervised visits, he would hide behind furniture and refused to talk to her. After she would leave, he would have bathroom accidents which were abnormal for him. When Tory, his father, would visit, Eli would light up, smile, was talkative and energetic, and seemed to enjoy spending time with his father. Tory would bring age-appropriate toys and engage with his son. In December of 2021, the 2-year order of protection was up for renewal, and since there was no real ground to renew it, and since Julissa did not show up for the hearing, the renewal was dropped. When the social worker asked Julissa why she did not show up to the hearing, she said she wanted to keep her options open. At the same time, Julissa reached out to Tory's partner, Josie Josephson, and said that Tori should adopt Eli, and said he was a good guy. In December of 2021, despite the many red flags, Eli was returned to Julissa's home for a home trial to determine if she can regain custody. After getting her son back into her home, Julissa went and filed another domestic violence abuse claim against Tori. She claimed he told their son that he would make mommy disappear if she won custody. She also blamed Tori for their son's behavioral problems at school. The claims were rejected in court, but the filing meant that Tori could not get any assistance in the custody battle. Even Julissa's own grandmother told her granddaughter to drop the restraining order and said that Tori doesn't have a mean bone in his body. She told her granddaughter if she didn't drop the restraining order, their relationship was finished. In February of 2022, a judge dismissed Julissa's request for a restraining order against Tori after finding her allegations were unsubstantiated. In March of 2022, Tori applied for full custody of his son. On March 30, the judge ruled that the Dakota County Social Services were to keep custody of Eli. The case was then given an inactive status while the case was being resolved. On May 10 of 2022, a Dakota County judge removed Eli from the state's protection. A Dakota County social worker and Eli's court-appointed guardian both testified that Eli needs to be back with his mother's care. In the final report, the social worker noted that Julissa was taking her medication regularly, and had been taking Eli to all of his therapy and medical appointments. She also noted that there was no indication that the child is unsafe in her care. Tori tried to get custody of his son, but every time he would gain ground, Julissa would make false claims, including orders of protection which would postpone custody hearings. Numerous statements were made to Child Protective Services from people close to the family that the child was unsafe with his mother, and urging the system to place Eli with his father. However, despite this, the child remained with his mother. When Eli was placed back in his mother's custody, he began acting out at school, began talking like a baby and stuttering. Eli's father, Tori, made contact with the Dakota County social workers that he feared his son was being mentally and emotionally abused. He pressed the fact that his son did not have any problems until he was placed back with his mother. On Friday, May 20 in 2022, the Orono Police Department received a call from a gas station that a person was driving around in a Chevrolet Impala on a rim, and that the back window was smashed out. The gas station is located in Mound, which is about 20 miles southwest of Minneapolis. Police located the car and conducted a traffic stop. Police noticed the car was missing one of its front tires. When police approached the vehicle, they noticed a woman and a male inside the car. While speaking with the two, police spotted blood in the back seat. The female had blood all over her hands and clothes. When police questioned the occupants, they claimed the blood in the back seat was from deer meat. The couple claimed they got deer meat from an unknown butcher in the middle of the night. Thaler claimed the blood on her face and hands was from changing out a tampon. Officers attempted to determine if Thaler was involved in an incident possibly outside of their jurisdiction, but Thaler became cold and distant. She refused to sit in the back of the police car. Police would not allow Thaler to continue driving the car, so they drove her back to her apartment. Police determined that due to the presence of blood and other evidence, they would open the trunk due to probable cause. Once the trunk was opened, they found the shotgun and the body of a young boy. Police also found spent shotgun shells in the floorboard of the vehicle. Police went back to the apartment to arrest Thaler, but she had already left the apartment. She had placed the clothes she was wearing in the washing machine and turned it on, then left. Surveillance video from across the road showed her and her boyfriend leave with a large backpack. Police were able to quickly locate the couple on foot near Shoreline Drive in Spring Park. Thaler's boyfriend was also taken into custody but later released for insufficient evidence linking him to the case. At the gas station, police, in the dumpster, investigators located a backpack, a large amount of blood, human bone, and brain matter. Further searches found a bloody, damaged booster seat near the gas station. Police followed the marks on the road made by the car's rim and found numerous locations where more brain matter and other evidence was located. Later, when the car was searched more thoroughly, they also discovered brain matter in the back seat. Julissa Thaler was being held at the Hennepin County Jail. She is being charged with premeditated second-degree murder. When police were able to search Thaler, they discovered she still had brain matter in her hair. An autopsy was performed on 6-year-old Eli Hart. It was discovered that he died from multiple gunshot injuries. His death was ruled a homicide. He was shot 9 times in the torso and head, causing significant injuries and death. Court records indicate that Julissa Thaler had an acute history of mental illness but stopped obtaining treatment sometime before getting her son back. She had a long history of using drugs, and she refused to attend parenting educational programs, and she had an unstable home life for her 6-year-old son. Court records also reveal that Thaler purchased her shotgun in mid-March when the custody battle was in full swing. She had her boyfriend assist in teaching her how to shoot the gun at a shooting range. The Westonka Public School Superintendent Kevin Berg said, "It is with an extremely heavy heart that I write to you today." Westonka Public Schools was notified Friday of the tragic death of a child in our community. We now believe the victim to be a kindergarten student at Shirley Hills Primary School. It is horrifying and difficult to process the tragedy of this magnitude, especially in our close-knit community. My thoughts and prayers go out to all those who are grieving this profound loss. The death of any young person is a loss that, in one way or another, affects each of us. Even those without direct connections to the student may need help processing this news. The district's crisis support team will be on site at Shirley Hills starting Monday morning as the school community begins to process this loss. Additionally, school counselors and staff in all of our buildings will be available to support students, staff and parents in any way they can. Westonka is strong, resilient and a caring community, and we will support each other in this difficult time. While it's only natural to question the circumstances regarding this tragedy, those questions will be answered by local law enforcement. Our focus is on our students and staff members' well-being, and the support we can provide. Tory Hart's fiancée, Josie Josephson, told reporters, "No matter how many cries we cried, they ignored us. No matter how many warning signs there were. Not only did we express concerns to multiple people, multiple times, every time the response was, 'This is something for family courts.' Child Protective Services said laws do not allow us to address this, unless they see physical abuse. They have no grounds to remove him from her home," said Josephson. A family member said several members of the family expressed their concerns for Eli's safety to Child Protective Services but were ignored. Nikita Kronberg, the foster mother who kept Eli for nearly a year, said, "I feared if she got custody back, that she would harm Eli, if not worse. I keep looking at pictures of him and I think this can't be real. He's out there somewhere playing, having fun. It can't be real." Julissa Thaler is being held on a $2 million bond and a trial date has not been set yet. If convicted, she could face up to 40 years in prison. On Friday, May 27, over 200 people gathered at the Westonka Library to pay their respects to Eli Hart. Since Eli's desire was to someday become a firefighter, the Mount Fire Department made him an honorary member. Julissa Thaler was no mother. She was using this innocent little boy as a tool to terrorize the father. She was a manipulative woman who should have never been within 100 miles of the child. The father should have been given full custody of Eli. There was overwhelming evidence that the mother was unstable, had mental issues, and could not properly care for this child. Everyone around this little boy failed him. The judges who handled this case should all resign from their positions. And the social workers who handled this case should all be held accountable. Why was this child given back to his mother when there was clear evidence she was unstable and using drugs? It's alarming that our system would place a boy back in the care of a woman the child is clearly frightened of. We should always err in caution of the child. Eli should have been placed with his loving father. May little Eli rest in peace. That concludes this episode. Keep your eye out for the next volume, coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Want to help support the channel you love, and get something in return? Simply purchase some Elizabeth's Chronicles merch. We have coffee mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, cozy blankets, beach towels, phone covers and more. Use the coupon code EC10OFF4U and get 10% off your order. The link to order is in the description area below this video. Thanks for helping Elizabeth's Chronicles continue to make the videos you love.